Introverts, how did you meet your girlfriend? Late to the party, but I might as well add my story. I used to sit alone during lunch period outside in the shade. My own little spot, right up against a pillar. I had friends, but I preferred my lunches to be quiet. Halfway through freshman year, a friend of mine told me I looked too lonely, so she had me follow her to hang with a few of her friends. That's where I met her. Her name was hard to pronounce, and I couldn't quite pin if she was of Hispanic or Italian descent. But she was super nice, and a total extrovert compared to me. We exchanged numbers and texted every day. After 2 weeks, I was pushed to ask her out, so I did. It was awkward for me to say the least. And when it became official, she told me, "You get to hold my hand now, silly," and walked us back to her friends. She ended up sharing that spot with me till graduation, and now we live together while going through college. 5 years strong. She makes me do shit I wouldn't rather do, but it's alright. English class, freshman year of high school. She was one of the few early people in the room and was wearing a shirt from a show I liked. I commented on it and then we talked all class period and basically every day after that. It was a setup that neither of us were aware was taking place. New Year's Eve party, we were the only single people invited. Tinder. Obligatory. I'm not an introvert. I'm a super extrovert that, somehow, attracts primarily introverted friends. I don't know how or why, but introverts love me. I bring the girls to them. It takes a while, but the relationships form. It's amazing to watch sometimes. Like two hamsters running into each other in their balls, rebounding, and slowly doing it more and more. So I guess what I'm saying is, get a super extroverted friend. She asked about my ex. Then we never stopped talking. Surprisingly, she asked me. This is a bit foggy in my mind, so I'll give what I remember. Context is, junior year of high school, lunchtime. The day before she asked me out, I got a text from one of my friendos at the time who tells me, "Hey, did you know that great romancer I love, or girl for short, likes you?" And I thought about it for a minute and thought, you're right, this is going to be some prank, because I was a skeptical dummy that thought no one would come to love him, so I brushed it off. The next day, I'm sitting at my lunch table with my band of goons/nerd friends and girl is sitting next to me, and out of the blue she asks something along the lines of, "Hey, so if I want to do something, and I want to do it really badly, should I do it?" And being the supportive and oblivious friend that I am, I say, "Go for it, do whatever you need to do." Girl then proceeds to get up and walk over and talk to my smart guy friend. And about a couple months later I asked my smart friend what girl was talking about, and apparently she asked his opinion on whether or not me and her would be a good couple. After she gets a good opinion or two, girl sits down and asks me the golden question. "Hey Survivor Zero, would you like to go out with me?" I barely mumble out to SS Shui. And she hugs me in response. It's been a year and a half so far and it's been wonderful, love you M. We were forced to interact by the professor of a college class. Dang, must be some seriously good-looking introverts here. I've been with my fair share of ladies and am currently dating one, but I've never once been approached. Good on you peeps for being so awesome. Introvert doesn't necessarily mean socially inept. I can socialize with people just fine, I just hate doing it. What girlfriend? Dating app. Had charming texts for a few days, then met. We had an awkward first lunch date where we didn't talk, that turned into like a 4-hour walk around town. We had to duck into places a couple times due to rain. Whenever we had to look at each other neither could talk, but when walking it was easier. At any rate, we've been together over 2 years and are moving in together. We are now able to speak to each other's faces. Martial arts, you don't really have to talk much when beating each other up, but you can still get to know them, and get more comfortable around them. Also, when I first asked her out I panicked, and asked her to go fly kites. It went well. How did I meet my girlfriend? Easy answer, I don't have one. I think there is a false premise underlying this question. Being an introvert and being shy are not the same thing. You can be an introvert and not be shy. You can be an outgoing introvert. Too many people seem to use the terms shy and introvert interchangeably. I may be wrong, but I have a feeling the op really wanted to ask shy people, how did you meet your girlfriend? Because an introvert's story on how they met their girlfriend may be similar to how an extrovert met their girlfriend. This is really late, but I was watching a movie with her and a bunch of friends in college. She was sitting next to me and scooted up against me, so I put my arm around her, thinking she was making a move. I found out later that she was just trying to get comfortable in the terrible college couch, but had been working up the courage to ask me out anyway, so she went with it. We got married last year. A school dance. She's also an introvert, so none of us belonged there, but a mutual friend got her to go and me to go, so we were in the same friend group. Eventually others left and it was just me and her. We've been together 8 months. If you're looking for advice as an introvert, mine is one word: confidence. I know it sucks, but that's how the world works. Just act like you know she likes you and act like you're the king and she'll like you. We're both pretty introverted, I more so than he is, but we met on an online game, an MMORPG. Never did we think we would date when we were chatting online, but one day I told him, hey, I want to travel. Let me come visit you. And he was cool with it. I remember driving to his house and missing it 3 times because I was extremely nervous. There was a point where I even pulled over and was trying to talk myself out of meeting him because what I was doing was crazy. I mean, I'm a girl meeting a random stranger who I met online at his house. That's how the serial killer stories start, right? But eventually I said, fuck it, I'm here. Let's do this. And boy am I glad I stayed. We had the time of our lives. We went skydiving, took a road trip to Canada, from northern Vermont, so about a 3-hour drive or so, shoot guns, ran in a cornfield, and saw a private fireworks show. It was amazing, but soon the fun was over and I had to go back to Texas. I thought that would have been the end for us, but I had to drive to Boston to catch my flight the next morning, and I accidentally had booked my hotel for the following 2 weeks instead of that night. I told him about it and said he could drive to Boston and use that hotel since there was no reason for me to be back there. Then he suggested that he would only use it if I came there and that he would show me around Boston. Of course, me being the gal who wants to travel, I said yes. After Boston, I kept traveling back up to see him and we started a long-distance relationship. After a year, we couldn't take the traveling and long distance, so he packed his belongings in a car and we drove his car down from Vermont to Texas. We're moving into our own apartment next week. Smile. TLDR: met guy on an online game. Visited him early. Had great time. Visited him more times and started a long-distance relationship. Wanted to see more of each other, so guy moved from Vermont to Texas and now living together. We both hid in a corridor outside of the very extroverted group and I remarked on her crotcheted hat in an effort to make conversation. That was 10 years ago. Now 5 years married now, with kid. I met my wife at a coffee shop she worked at. I'd frequently go in after work. She thought I was an asshole at first because I was a pain in the ass type customer. Then she suspected I might be gay because I was always meeting my friend Chris for coffee, and I asked one night, has my friend been in? She thought I was being coy about calling him my boyfriend. In retrospect, it's remarkable we got together. Deleted. Well, I used to go to a laundromat that her mom owned, and usually this girl was always there smiling, and I had a girlfriend at the time, and the girl from laundry looked like she was 15 or so, and I was on my 29/30s, so I broke up with my girlfriend and a few weeks after decided to ask this girl from laundry out, but was too shy to do it, so I decided to go to Facebook and look for her somehow, and I couldn't. Found the laundry page and message. Got a response right away and we were talking. I tough was her mom or dad typing on the page, so she gave me personal Facebook and I asked her to a movie or something. She said no for the first 3 weeks and I told her to fuck off, ha 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 ha. Then she asked me to go out and we went. Well, we are together and married for 3 years now. She wasn't 15, she was 27, ha 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 ha, and everything is good. Deleted. An app. Bumble, specifically. I like that app best because you know if you match and you talk that they're definitely interested in you. I've been with her for a year and change, and we're getting an apartment together this summer. She makes me so happy, too. I can't wait to see what more is in store for us. She hit me up on MySpace in 2007 telling me we should hang out and gave her number. I hit her up and went over to her house to play Wii Sports. We have been together ever since. Turns out, she had a huge crush on me in elementary and high school and she never had the courage to flirt with me. I was oblivious to it.